This is another section from a work in progress called New Year's Eve 2016. Here are all sorts, the denizens and burghers of a Flemish masterpiece, or a long-lost Hogarth, clothed for the information age, the grease and grime of olden times deep cleansed and held at bay by exfoliating microbeads and toners, inexorable decay driven back by Botox and the surgeon's scalpel from a shimmering redoubt. And though the terminal outcome of this conflict's not in doubt, for now these happy warriors are scornful of their fates, clinking and drinking, laughing in the face of the reaper while he waits. And then a serendipity so right it might have been written in stars by an undiscovered author. The bold-beating opening bars of We Are Young by Fun come blasting out in Bluetooth ebullience, and all of us, quick bubbles in one sweet collective effervescence, burst out in raw and raucous voice, giving our all to the chorus in a full-blooded oblation made of and by and for us. And burning brighter than the sun on this last night of 2016, we sing our merry little hearts out in acclamation of all we've been. When it's over, out of breath and grinful, tulip-cheeked, and back in our own ages, but newly confident we're yet unpeaked, rejuvenated more by memories than by any collagenic lotion, our many various worlds still rocking and rolling in harmonious motion, we return to ourselves, groping for the severed threads of conversations. Where were we all before we were young? And in the middle of these investigations I cross the room, having espied a bottle full of juniper on an uninhabited habitat island, and that's when I see her. I'm bending over, pouring a teensy-weensy smidgen's more than's meat in the absence of tonic and a plausible clean sheet, and I'm bumped. And in one single cinematic blink, Steadicam smooth, gangster cool, clutching my drink tight as a BAFTA, I turn to confront my antagonist, ready for absolutely anything, feeling appropriately A-list. And I'm nose to nose, like a Maori parody with an emerald goddess. 1 second, 2 seconds, 3, and our first tentative separation. Was that an uncomfortable silence? I don't know what that was. An unconscionable act of violence on an innocent man. Oh, are you? And our first smiles rise. Well, I've a room full of witnesses and a wallet full of alibis, whereas you... Guilty as charged, I'm so sorry. Nothing spilt, no one killed, no need to worry. I'm a tough judge, but for a fistful of your dollars, I'll be forgiving. And what do you do? I'm a poet. No, I mean for a living. What to be, what to play upon this most intimate of stages. Someone spectacularly special, a man for all ages, a consummate professional yet effortlessly, casually impressive, cosmopolitan yet grounded, of endless means, clubbable yet transgressive enough to transect her comfort zone, to deconstruct her hauteur, one who can follow studio rules when he wants, but a true auteur, something intriguing, something beguiling, someone of whom to want more, someone for whom to let her dresses fall to her dressing room floor, to burst her buttons open laughing, to make her playtime panties damp. I'm a process excellence director in a death camp. Hold the gaze. It's a risky gambit, sure, but I'm playing for her universe, so hold the gaze. Do not retreat. Redeploy, perhaps, but don't reverse. An instance after, there's the spark of fun and games incepted, an infinitesimal crystal flash. Challenge accepted. That sounds rather arduous for a desk job. Who are you exterminating? Well, this coming quarter it's the Janes. We're done with tolerating their vile and verminous smugness, so we're sweeping them away. You're right, it is a tough job, but someone's got to make the fuckers pay. But I'm a Jane. Her eyes ablaze, her lips a perfect proscenial arch. Well, if I were you, I wouldn't book any holidays past March. No, I mean my name's Jane. Oh, in that case you can relax. Our exception handling's pretty robust. Of course, a few fall through the cracks, but them's the breaks, etc. And what do you do, Jane? Oh, now that would be telling. Then tell me. My lips shall remain sealed as a pharaoh's tomb. Oh, that's a shame, she almost sighs. And then, in an eyelid's flutter, she transforms herself. A dramatic surprise worth an ovation, a quicksilver chameleonic alteration in her demeanour and her aspect, a fantastic adaptation with me in the seat of honour for as long as I dare, for as long as I've got, for as long as I can bear. Perhaps, she says with Cold War sang-froid, I am a Soviet spy, here for a quick stop at a rooftop dead drop under a sickling sky. Or perhaps, and another startling metamorphic gift to an audience of one applauding mutely at each shift, I'm a copper, a detective, a clever bulge in the thin blue line, and I'm on to you, son, I've got your bloody number. Your ass is mine. Or perhaps, and again a truly Tony-worthy transition, I am the Duchess of Milan, secure in my position, but bored, stretching back as if pulling a pearl-drenched thread from a disconcerting crease. Not quite wishing I were dead, but indubitably my husband. And now, thirsty for that Oscar win, there's a hint of Arquette's Alabama, a touch of Basinger's Lynn, a rush of Pfeiffer's Titania in her close and consecrated bower, but mostly there's herself, her own self-cultivated western flower in brief full bloom for my eyes only. Game and prize proposed while we wrangle for the rules, unsure how wholly we're exposed. Or perhaps I am a courtesan, tutored in every night-time art by the very best in Venice, Venus for an evening for your fortune's heart. Danced by the Doge, jewelled by the Dauphin, jewelled for by the king, yet owned by no one, yet. And here, pendant upon our double string, she hangs with noble nonchalance blank canvases on which to limn a second, grander renaissance that I could patron at her whim. And in me I can feel the charge of cavalries against my ranks, the dreadful press of pikes in pincers gouging out my flanks, and if I flinch now, all's undone. So hold the gaze. She must not see the slightest waver in my lines, the faintest fall in the ferocity of my defence. So hold the gaze. For no, my love, I will not be just one more grunting comte gone bankrupt for your company, another suicidal splash in your canal. I'll hold this gaze, this sanguinary field, until we both grow old, and all our blades are rust, our forces pensioned off or mouldering, and younger bodies march where once our wills went soldiering. Unless you come to parley. Raise your white flag high, I'll do the same, and we can share the spoils of our self-plunder, sit in equal fame upon our double throne, imperious, a stunning diarchy, immovable, unstoppable, if only you'll first yield to me. And who could scry in our bound eyes the fate of this titanic clash? That from my rear I'd be assaulted by an ally's sabre slash, a smashing, stabbing pat on the back, and the battle flees from both as the gaze breaks. And blinking, turning, returning with an oath more Anglo-Saxon than romantic to my here and now, I see an old familiar face, smiling and wondering how I'm getting on. Well, thanks, mate. I knew I'd see you here. Happy birthday. Congrats on surviving another year, especially one so dismal. Thanks. It's been a scream mostly, with much silent resting. Variations on the same old theme. Jane, this is, and I name him, one of my longest standing friends. Yes, I really must sit down. My pleasure, Jane. And thus destiny bends around another body. Two wound beams split by the causal accident of the presence of a man I love with platonic passion. Heaven sent as oblivious guarantor of lawful peace in a wonderland where I have no right of conquest, having claimed elsewhere my final stand. But I was only playing, love, just jousting on that golden field. I shall not draw my sword again to make a foreign empress yield, though she might sparkle with the gems of all the world. For all that shine is darkness, dazzled by the light that is already mine. For I was only playing, love, sporting in the long lush grass of fancy for the fun of it, surfing the sands of my hourglass, thrilling without spilling blood that would drain me quite dry. For yours are my glinting armies, yours my ardent battle cry, yours the blaze of my oriflamme, the breeze behind my archery. For I was only playing, love, and she did not conquer me. So we sit, we three, to set the world to rights a while, to make each other laugh, to take great pleasure in another's smile, and soon a fourth, a fifth, come whirling by to join our band, to feel our worlds grow wider, hear our chiming spheres expand, to find new delight in new acquaintance and old comradeships, to found, perhaps, the orders of lasting friendships in toasts from disposable cups across a plastic picnic table. And at some point, already blurred but critically stable, my old schoolmate leans in, close as a conspirator. I need to talk to you. And so we leave this transitory theatre and amble to the terrace. But one lonely bugle calls within my mind in grave remembrance of the flower of youth I've left behind. And stepping through the screen doors, I take one last look back at the battlefield, still echoing the bangs of her attack, and one more time our gazes meet. And with a pair of veterans' grins, we loft and loose salute our massively destructive gins and scuttle them, and grimace like doomed admirals, and grin again, and part into the night. To reinforce, perhaps, before the next campaign.